I was 14, with unruly red hair and freckles, and straight as an H. He was 16, a blonde Elvis with a deep, dark voice. Let me set the scene. I was born in an old Victorian home with ornate ceilings. This rambling home had an apartment at the back. In March of 1959, Eugene and his family moved in. He was my first infatuation. I watched him as he sat on the back steps. I liked how he lit his cigarette and half closed one eye and blew smoke rings. I thought he was the most beautiful creature I had ever seen. But I was too shy to approach him, and besides, I had my mother's voice in my head saying, "You stay away from those boys." Eugene played guitar and sang old country and western tunes. Hey bird dog, get away from my trail. Hey bird dog, you're on the wrong trail. Bird dog, you better leave my lovey-dove alone. All the other kids in the home were just as infatuated as I was. And after a while, my nervousness left me and we started to hang out and go for walks. We found this secluded place across the road amongst the overgrown honeysuckle bushes. There we talked about our lives, the things we were unsure of, and our future. I was going to be an airline stewardess for Air Canada, and he was going to be a singer on the Grand Ole Opry singing old Western country music. I learned that Eugene was in the penitentiary in Shelburne, Nova Scotia for 2 years. He and his brother were caught stealing cars. But I blamed his brother Gordon for these incarcerations because he was the one with the shifty eyes and the smart aleck attitude. I became entrenched by the hardships and the things to endure that Eugene went through. And my diary was full of the unfortunate life of Eugene Chute. We often went for walks, and on one particular time, went to town to buy my mother a lovely china cup for her birthday. And we shared a cherry Coke on the way home. We were the best of friends. One night, as we were sitting in the old abandoned car in the backyard, it happened. He took my face and planted a kiss right on my lips, right in the middle of me telling him how much I didn't like my sister using my clothes, and here was this kiss, and I froze. And my legs were jelly. I couldn't get out of that car fast enough. I went to my private place in my room and wrote about the first kiss, still suffering from the glow and the fright. Well, the dog days of summer soon passed, and school was starting. I had tests to do, projects to think of. I wanted to be the top of the class. I had very little time for Eugene. And one day, after a casual encounter, he slipped a note in my math book. When I got home to read it, I was steaming mad. That was my first love letter. And it had misspelt words, and he was telling me things like how great I was and how much he cared about me. Well, I met up with him before first bell the next day and took a strip off of him. I was like a wildcat. Don't you ever say things like that again. That was so embarrassing. You don't know what love is. I had no intention of having love in my life. So needless to say, there was a tension in our relationship. And before long, our love ship died. Eugene found comfort in another girl's eyes very shortly after. Yeah, Lorraine was prettier than me and cuter, but I was a better basketball player and I could outrun Pretty Face even on a bad day. As I tell you about my first love and the first that comes with first love, I hope that you will be able to remember one of your times when it was so beautiful, shocking, and sometimes very sad. And I invite you to remember those things and have a smile on your face as you remember your first love.